Why are some people better at working from home than others? When you think about this question, you might think that there is simply a kind of person who is good at working remotely, maybe someone who's adept at fending off distractions or who thrives from working alone. And you might think, well, if you're not one of these people who is naturally great at working remotely, you really can't do that much to become one of them. I'm Lauren Howe, a postdoc at the University of Zurich, and my study with my colleague Jochen Menges explored exactly this feeling. We wondered whether fundamental beliefs about the nature of remote work, namely whether it is a skill that can be learned or not, predicted employee adjustment in the massive switch to home office during the pandemic. Although people have been saying for decades that remote work is the future of work, most people were not regularly working remotely before COVID-19. These numbers increased dramatically during the crisis. So we used the pandemic as an opportunity to examine whether people who believe that there is simply a kind of person who is well suited to remote work, and that you either are or are not that kind of person, would struggle more with the switch to remote work. This idea is based on a large literature in psychology suggesting that when people believe that a personal quality can be changed and developed, what is called a growth mindset, they tend to be more motivated and perform better than people who believe that this personal quality is set in stone, what is called a fixed mindset. For example, students who view intelligence as an unchangeable, fixed quality of which a person either has a little or has a lot, tend to earn lower grades than students who view intelligence as something that can be changed and developed. When people hold a fixed mindset about a personal quality, such as the skill to work remotely, they tend to interpret any challenges that arise as a sign that they lack this desirable quality. So people who hold fixed mindsets about remote work may see any struggles that arise naturally in the transition to remote work, like struggling to concentrate or sometimes feeling lonely, as a sign that they are the kind of person who is simply not suited for remote work. This might lead these people to feel more frustrated, guilty, or anxious during remote work. So we thought that people who hold a fixed mindset about remote work would experience more negative and less positive emotion when adjusting to remote work. And drawing from past research suggesting that negative emotions undermine performance at work, while positive emotions boost performance, we thought that employees with fixed mindsets would ultimately feel less productive during remote work. Our study involved 113 employees in Switzerland who were working remotely because of coronavirus. We asked these employees to report how they felt each week over 3 weeks during the crisis, as well as how productive they felt. And we found that employees who had more fixed mindsets about remote work, who agreed that it's a skill that you have or don't, and this can't be changed, tended to feel more negative emotion and less positive emotion during remote work. And negative emotion in particular had a detrimental impact on productivity. The increased negative emotion that people with fixed mindsets about remote work felt led them to feel less productive in the following week. Importantly, these effects were specific to mindsets about remote work. We also measured people's mindsets about intelligence, but having a more fixed mindset about intelligence didn't predict emotions during remote work. Companies across the world were effectively springboarded into the future of work by the pandemic. If remote work is here to stay, as many are saying now, then we need to understand what helps employees to feel happy and productive during remote work. Our research suggests that mindsets about remote work are one such factor. Companies could help employees who are starting remote work adopt a growth mindset to smooth their transition. Software providers and remote work platforms could also offer tutorials and other means to facilitate a growth mindset in users to make their experience more positive and increase their perceived productivity. Ultimately, to create a better future of work, organizations should consider how employee mindsets affect responses to changes in the nature and structure of work, such as increased opportunities for remote work. Organizations that adopt strategies to cultivate adaptive mindsets in employees, like growth mindsets about remote work, may help employees to thrive. Thank you.